Putting this sink top on, vanity is not going to be a big deal. Just get all your pieces ready to go, your supply lines, faucet. This one comes with a little plastic gasket that goes on the top, and then the nuts tighten from the bottom. You will need some plumber's putty for the drain assembly. That little trim piece on the top needs plumber's putty. And then your drain stopper stuff there. Couple channel locks, maybe a wrench or two. That's about all you need for this. I start with the faucet, get those nuts snug up from the bottom, and then double check the faucet on the top. Make sure it's straight before you tighten these down. Don't crank on them too much. Just get them nice and snug. You don't want to break anything. Those are plastic. Even the metal ones, you just don't want to chip anything or break anything. The drain assembly, that trim ring with the putty on it, screws onto the bottom piece that goes up through the bottom. And then the bottom has a big rubber washer and a nut that tightens up from the bottom to seal all that. You shouldn't need any Teflon tape or anything on any of this. It's pretty much self-sealing. The only thing you do need is that plumber's putty. So get that trim ring centered in the hole. Just make sure it stays in the middle as you're tightening, screwing the other piece in from the bottom. Pretty much screw it until it won't go anymore, and then make sure that it's still centered real good when you tighten this nut and that rubber washer, which is going to plug that hole from the bottom. So there again, you don't have to crank on it like a crazy person. Just get it nice and tight and make sure that hole there is for the stoppers oriented towards the back, and then work on the sink stopper assembly here. That rod there is bent for a reason, just the way some of them are made. And then the sink stopper itself has that little lip on it with a hole in it that will accept that pin from the bottom. So orient that towards the back of the sink, and then the pin and the rod, you can see you got to push that rod through that nut, and then the short piece goes into the sink stopper itself, and that's going to run it up and down. There again, we shouldn't need any Teflon tape or anything. Most of this stuff is self-sealing. It does need to be snug though, and this is the rod that'll run your stopper up and down. Designs are going to vary a little bit from sink to sink, but for the most part, they're all similar. So, and then this piece connects the two rods together in adjustable. It's just adjustable up and down, in and out. You can see the different hole selections there for whatever you're working on. You can even cut off the bottom if you need to, because it's plastic or whatever. And then you get that little spring clip that holds that on to the one rod, and that way you can move it around and get it adjusted to where it needs to be. It's so much easier to do this when the sink's out. Doing this under the sink is just a major pain. So yeah, get it where everything's nice and straight. All the rods are oriented the proper way. And then when you're all satisfied with that, you can tighten that nut, and then that'll hold the whole assembly together. Supply lines, there again, no Teflon tape. They have rubber washers on the inside, so just get them snug, maybe a quarter turn extra, and that's all you need. If it does happen to get a little drip, just tighten it just a little bit. And then to seal the top down, I just use silicone or some caulking, something that's going to let loose if you ever have to take it off for whatever reason. It's not like construction adhesive that just won't let go. So I got the new shutoffs, push on, quarter turn, got my supply lines hooked up, water's on, check for leaks. The drain, you got 1.25 inches going to 1.5 inches here. I got an 1.5 inch nut with an 1.25 inch washer to transition to this 1.5 inch. Or you can put it towards the back there if you want to do that. It just depends on your setup. You might have to cut a few pipes or whatever, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy project. So yeah, there you go. Hope that helps.